All it takes for someone to destroy you is your affection. He was focused on his path, a brilliant future in his hands. She appeared as if she wanted nothing, and slowly she made her way in, first with compliments, then with promises, and finally with something he never saw coming. But every mask eventually slips. Every lie has a shelf life. And when the truth came out, she wasn't ready to deal with what he had become. This isn't a love story. It's a story of deception, of a great fall, and of redemption. And you're going to want to see it through to the very last second. Subscribe now to Echoes of Temptation. Hit the notification bell and send this to that friend who's been acting strange in their relationship. Because when the con is emotional, the scar isn't in your wallet, it's on your soul. I was never one for parties. I never liked big crowds, loud music, or the feel of a sweaty glass in my hand. But that night, I went. It was an office event, a cocktail reception for a new client. One of those CEOs you only see on the cover of Forbes. I was just the intern, the kid from the wrong side of the tracks learning to walk in dress shoes without looking like I was wearing casts. But someone in that firm believed in me, and that opened doors. I remember leaning against the bar, scrolling through my phone, pretending to be busy. I hated looking out of place. That's when I heard my name. This here is André. Keep an eye on him. This kid is going places. It was Mr. Alvaro, a senior partner at the firm, with that familiar glass of whiskey in his hand and the arrogance of a man who knew he could build or break careers. The others chuckled, shook my hand, patted me on the back. I just smiled, not knowing what to say. And then she appeared. Black dress, light makeup, her hair tied back in that way that looks effortless but is perfectly calculated. Melina. I don't know if she was already nearby, if she overheard what they said, or if it was just a coincidence. But in that exact moment, our eyes met. She smiled. Not a wide, open smile. No, it was the corner of her mouth, a single raised eyebrow, as if to say, "Well, now I'm curious." "Do you work here?" she asked, approaching me as if she'd known me for years. "Just an intern, for now," I replied, with that foolish modesty you learn to adopt so you don't seem arrogant. "I thought you were already a lawyer. You have a presence." Presence. That word echoed in my mind. No one had ever said that to me before, especially not someone like her. We talked for a few minutes. She said she was there as a hostess, working for the catering company, but she didn't seem out of place in that environment of money and power. On the contrary, she floated through it. Before she left, she touched my arm and said, "You're different. I can tell." I just stood there, that sentence burning inside me. At the time, I thought it was a compliment. Today I know it was target identification. I thought that would be the end of it. After she said, "You're different," she disappeared into the crowd, and I went back to my corner. But 2 days later, a notification popped up on Instagram. Melina Rocha followed you, liked 3 of your photos, and sent you a message, "Hey lawyer," with a scales emoji. We started messaging. Slowly at first. She always kept a playful tone, but she would bring up subjects that made me think. She'd ask what I thought about certain types of crime, if I believed the rich always got away with it, if I'd ever seen someone lie well enough to fool the justice system. I didn't know it then, but she wasn't just flirting. She was mapping me. When I asked her out for coffee, she replied, "I prefer wine. Coffee is for meetings." We met at a discreet place near the city center. I arrived early. She arrived 20 minutes late with a charming excuse about a broken heel. Throughout our entire date, she never once looked at her phone. She laughed at my dumbest jokes. She'd touch my arm when she disagreed with me. She called me counselor like it was a private joke. "You're so proper, aren't you?" she said after her second glass of wine. "Maybe. You'll be famous one day. Just try not to become an asshole when you do." I should have noticed it then, that mix of a compliment and a warning. As if she already knew where this was all headed. At the end of the night, I offered to walk her to her Uber. She refused, said she preferred to go alone, that she liked to stay in control. "Does that scare you?" she asked. "No." "Good. Because men who get scared of me tend to disappear quickly." I didn't sleep that night. I replayed every sentence, every gesture, every glance. I thought I was living the beginning of a beautiful story. Little did I know, I was just the bait. We started seeing each other almost every weekend. Whenever she could, she'd come to my apartment. She said she needed a place where she could switch off, rest her mind, and that she could only do that with me. But I never went to her place. Not once. "My aunt," she'd say, laughing as if it were a joke. "She's sick and difficult. Some days, even I can't stand her." There was always an excuse. When I suggested picking her up, she'd prefer we meet somewhere. When I talked about getting to know her world, she'd change the subject, and I accepted it. I thought it was just a matter of time. Melina was intense. When she was with me, she seemed completely present. She'd laugh at my stories. She'd lay her head on my chest and say she felt safe. "You have a way of calming me down. That's rare." I felt special, almost unique. But there were also the silences. Sometimes she would disappear for hours. She'd say her battery died, that she overslept, that the day was just crazy. But her Instagram stories kept rolling. Pictures at a salon, dinner out, music playing in her car. I saw them, and I pretended I didn't. I made excuses for her inside my own head. She's independent. She likes her space. It's fine. One night, she rested her face against mine and whispered, "Has anyone ever told you that you have an old soul?" "No," I answered, not understanding. "Well, I'm telling you now, you're a real man, André. The kind I'm not used to." I fell asleep with those words pressed against my chest, thinking it was love. Today, I understand. It was just her way of tightening the leash, with words that felt like affection, but were really a disguise for control. The first request came disguised as shame. It was a Wednesday, almost 11 at night. We were texting when she dropped it. "Do you think it's pathetic to ask for help from someone you're just seeing?" I told her no, that it depended on the intention, on the situation. "My gas ran out, literally, just now, at night. And you don't have anyone there to help?" "I don't want to ask my aunt for anything else. I already do too much." And she, well, it's a long story. I was silent for a few minutes. I had $300 saved up. It was my budget for the month's transport, for cheap lunches near the office. But I was already in too deep. "Bank transfer?" I asked. She sent her details, and before she went to sleep, she wrote, I swear I hate asking for these things, but with you, I feel less alone. That line got me. In the following days, she seemed sweeter. She called me my lawyer. She sent me mirror selfies with the caption, "Wishing you were here." I thought that was the return on my investment, that everything was balanced. But then came the second request, and the third. Problems at home. Her brother crashed the car, and she needed to pay for the repairs to keep the family out of trouble. "I'll pay you back, André. I just don't have it right now. But I swear, I hate feeling like this." I stopped asking for it back. I stopped questioning. I just did it. Because it wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about the fear of losing her. Because every time I hesitated, she would shut down. She'd become cold, disappear for hours, come back with short, dry replies, until I caved. It was as if she was saying without words, "Either you prove you care, or you're not the man I thought you were." By this point, we weren't officially dating, but we weren't just a fling either. She said she didn't want labels, that labels ruined everything. "Let's just live in the now," she'd say. "Okay, but am I the only one living in this now?" When I'd say that, she'd go silent. Then she'd send a selfie with a stern face and a short text. "Do you think I'm using you?" "That's not what I said." "Then why are you pressuring me? Just leave me alone for a bit." And just like that, she'd push me into a corner. I would try to ask for more of her time, for more clarity, and I'd end up feeling like I was the one in the wrong. The requests for help continued, always different. Her aunt's power bill, an urgent medical test, dog food. The amounts were never huge, but they never stopped. When I tried to pull back, she'd flip it. "You know what hurts me? It's not the money. It's that you think everything comes down to that." She made me feel small, selfish. And then would come the reward. She'd spend a night with me, treat me well, sleep in my arms, and say, "Don't disappear on me, okay? I've gotten used to you." And I believed her. Deep down, a part of me knew something was wrong. But the other part, the part that wanted to be chosen, to be loved, to be seen, that part was stronger. I would tell myself, maybe she just needs time. Maybe she's just scared. Maybe I'm the problem for wanting too much. It was a Saturday afternoon. I had invited Melina to lunch. She replied with a tired voice message. "Not today, babe. I'm in bed with cramps. Didn't sleep at all. I think it's PMS." I told her to rest. I offered to go to the pharmacy to bring her medicine, food, anything. She refused. Said she just wanted bed and silence. So far, so normal. Later, I opened Instagram without thinking. And there it was. A new story. A 3-second video. Her filming a glass of gin, music in the background, low lights, in a restaurant. I knew the place. It was an expensive, romantic rooftop bar. The kind you need reservations for weeks in advance. First came denial. I thought, maybe it's an old post she's sharing again. But the song was a current hit. The caption had today's date. The location was tagged. I waited. She said nothing. The next day, she sent me a good morning text as if nothing had happened. I almost asked. I even typed it out. "Weren't you sick with cramps yesterday?" But I deleted it. Because if she had lied, she already knew she'd lied. And if she hadn't, she would have told me. Instead, I replied with a neutral emoji. She noticed. She tried to make small talk. I was curt. She snapped back. Why are you being weird? Did something happen? Just tired. Oh, I thought it was something I did. But okay, be well. And she was gone. 3 days without a word. I slept with my phone in my hand, waiting for her to break the silence, to explain, to at least come up with a better lie. But nothing. On the fourth day, she sent a selfie, a beautiful one. Underneath it, I missed you. And me? I replied, because back then, all I wanted was to believe again, even if it was a lie. It was a Tuesday night. I was leaving the office when I saw the notification. 3 missed calls, 1 message. Call me, please, it's urgent. I called. She answered, crying. My brother's been arrested. Her voice was trembling. She spoke quickly, said he was caught with friends, drugs in the car, that he was just giving them a ride, that her family was desperate. I'm not asking you to solve it, just to help me pay for a lawyer. I'm trying to pull the money together with my dad, but we're short, and you're the only person I trust right now. I was silent. The amount was high, much more than I had. How much are you short? 2,000, but anything you can give helps. It was always like this, always emotional, always urgent. And deep down, I already knew something was wrong. She'd mentioned her brother before, but this story felt scripted. The crying, the timing, the tone, it was all too perfect, too convenient. And when I asked if she wanted me to recommend someone from my firm, she refused. I don't want to get your work involved in this. It's enough that you're here for me. And then came the final blow. I know it's a lot. If you want to walk away, I'll understand. That broke me. It wasn't just a request. It was a threat in disguise. Help me, or you lose me. The next day, I made the transfer. She replied with, Thank you, really. You're all I have. But something in her had already changed, and something in me had too, because in that moment, I stopped trusting her. But I still couldn't leave. It wasn't one big revelation. I didn't catch her in the act. There was no bombshell screenshot. It was a detail. A few days after the incident with her brother, Melina remained distant. Short replies, long disappearances. And when she did appear, she was overly sweet, as if she were balancing her coldness with crumbs of affection. One night, I went to her profile out of habit. She had started posting again. A photo at a bar, glass in hand, an enigmatic caption. Sometimes silence is also an answer. The place in the photo caught my eye. It was a bar I recognized, not by name, but by the wall, a piece of neon art with crooked letters. I had walked past it 2 days earlier on my way to a client meeting. The photo was geotagged in the city center, but the bar was on the other side of town. She was hiding where she was. Something didn't add up. I looked up the name of the bar online. I found their official Instagram page. Her photo was from there. And then I saw the detail that made everything stop. In the background, a reflection in the glass. A man. Shaved head. A beard. A large watch on his wrist. I couldn't see his face, but she wasn't alone. I didn't comment. I didn't ask. I just stared at the screen, as if looking at myself for the first time in weeks. And the question I had been avoiding finally came. What am I doing? The next morning, I sent a mechanical good morning. She replied with a soft voice message, calling me my love, asking if we were going to see each other that weekend. I told her I was traveling. I wasn't. All I needed was silence. My own. This time. It was the beginning of the end. I just didn't know she was saving one last blow, and that it would be the worst of all. When I said I was going away for a few days, she replied with a sad emoji and a text. Enjoy it for me. And so, I disappeared too. Not from places or from my routine, but from her. I didn't go anywhere. I just stayed in my own space. No demands, no drama, just observing. Deep down, I wanted to see if her silence came from indifference or from waiting. 3 days later, she returned, a smiling selfie, then a sticker that said, I missed you. The next day, are you back already? Was everything okay? I was thinking about you. I waited and only replied late that night. Everything's fine here. That's all. No emoji, no question in return. She tried to bring back the old tone. You're acting strange. Did something happen? I'm just focused on other things right now. I wasn't playing a game. I just wasn't her hostage anymore. And she knew it. Okay, I get it. Be well. And she vanished. For 2 days, nothing. Then, on a Wednesday morning, she reappeared. I need to talk to you. It's serious. I told her to call. She refused. Better this way. I don't think I can say it without crying. I knew a bombshell was coming. I just wasn't expecting this one. I'm pregnant. I read it. Breathed. Read it again. I sent back only 2 words. Are you sure? Yes. I took the test yesterday. I was in shock. But you were the one I needed to tell. It wasn't despair. It wasn't joy. It was theater. And then came the rest of the script. I haven't told anyone. Not my aunt. Not my father. Only you. As I read, I could feel the screenplay, the cadence of blackmail, the choice of words, everything calculated to trap me. Do you really think I would make this up? After everything we've been through? I almost laughed, because what we had lived through was almost entirely invented, too. And what do you plan to do? I typed. I don't know. I'm scared. But you're not going to leave me alone, are you? That sentence hit me, not because of the threat, but because of the repetition. It was always this. Her fear became my responsibility. Her urgency became my debt. That night, I didn't sleep. I opened my calendar. I went back weeks. I remembered where she'd been. The bar, the disappearances, the delayed messages. The timeline didn't add up. And I knew. It was either a lie or it belonged to someone else. But the move was clear. When she realized she no longer had me, she tried to chain me with the last possible tie. The next day, she sent an audio message, her voice choked with emotion. She spoke like someone who had rehearsed every line. I woke up feeling sick. I'm so scared. I just wish everything were simpler. I spoke with only clarity. I wrote back, we're going to need to do a test. A pause. She read it. Silence. Then a curt reply. Are you serious? You're doubting me? It's not about distrust. It's about responsibility. This changes everything. We need to be certain. Another pause. Longer this time. The test? Everything. Forget what I said. I'm not feeling well anymore. I said nothing, because right there, in that exact moment, she ended the play. She didn't cry, didn't insist, didn't fight. She simply dropped the performance with the same coldness she had started it with. The imaginary child vanished, with a single word: forget. And in that moment, there was no doubt left. It wasn't mine. It never was. That night, I erased everything: the conversations, the audio files, the screenshots, everything that held me emotionally captive. But before deleting it all, I saved just one thing: the receipt from the last wire transfer. Not as proof, not for attachment, but to never forget the price of ignoring the signs. After that, my life didn't stop. I graduated. My diploma arrived like a weight lifted from my shoulders, not because of the paper, but because of everything I had endured to get there. The firm where I had interned called me back, only this time as a lawyer. Soon after, Dr. Alvaro called me into his office and said, "Are you ready to start taking on your own clients? Starting today, you'll manage your own accounts." My name started to circulate in the hallways. The kid from the wrong side of the tracks, who spoke little but got things done. My mother, Donna Lourdes, cried when she saw my name on the glass plaque at the reception desk. One day, at the building's cafe, a colleague from the office commented casually, "I've seen you with that girl Melina, right? She's beautiful." I confirmed it naturally. "Yeah, we saw each other a few times, nothing serious." He let out a discreet laugh. "Good thing, because nothing serious is her specialty. She's had a few nothing serious flings with several colleagues here, and according to a friend of mine, after just a short time dating, she came at him with the same story about being pregnant. He comes from a wealthy family, but he found out it was all a lie. She wasn't even pregnant." I just nodded. Inside, I filed it all away. No drama, no anger, just the certainty I needed. In that moment, I understood. If I had stayed with her, maybe I wouldn't have graduated. Maybe I would have abandoned everything to uphold a false world. Maybe right now, I'd be carrying a guilt that wasn't even mine. That wasn't a loss. It was a deliverance. Months later, I started a postgraduate program. That's where I met Livia, a civil servant, independent, intelligent in a way she didn't flaunt, but that you could see in her eyes. At first, I thought it was just admiration, but it was care, loyalty, respect, things I didn't even know existed until I felt them. One Saturday night, we went for dinner at a new restaurant, a table on the veranda, a light atmosphere. Livia excused herself to go to the restroom, and I sat there, scrolling through my phone, and that's when I saw her. Melina, a little older, still beautiful, but different. Her whole look was over the top: heavy makeup, a tight dress, high heels in a casual place. She paraded through the room like someone who needed to be seen, searching for glances, sizing up well-dressed men. She saw me and smiled. She walked to my table as if she were certain she still had me. "André, what a coincidence." She sat without asking. She looked around, assessing if I was alone. "It's been a while, huh?" I said little, brief, polite, just enough to make it clear. There was no opening anymore. She tried to turn on the charm, talked about how she missed me, asked too many questions, until Livia returned. A simple dress, steady gait, a kiss on my cheek. "Sorry for the wait, my love." Melina froze for half a second. Then she stood up. "Well, it's good to see you're doing well." She smiled, but it was fake. Not because of politeness, but because of the defeat embedded in that light gesture. She left the restaurant walking as she always did, head held high, calculated steps. But this time, no one looked, not even me. I turned my focus back to Livia, and I had only one thought. This is how you close a chapter. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't revenge, it's silence, it's clarity, a steady step towards a life that no longer needs fixing, a life built on truth. André learned the hard way. He fell into the trap of a love that was only sweet on the surface, a love that used affection as currency. But he didn't stay down. He got up, he grew, and he moved on. And Melina, the truth came out. The faces changed. The admiring glances vanished. Because charm can open doors, but it's character that keeps someone inside. If you've ever lived through something similar, or know someone trapped in a relationship that only drains, demands, and hurts, leave a comment below. Here at Echoes of Temptation, we transform unresolved stories into hard-won freedom. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this episode with someone who needs to wake up before the final blow. The truth, sooner or later, always finds a way to the surface.